Hello, my name's Elaine Cook and I'm the Strategic Marketing Director for the Internet of Things with Intel in Europe.
Now, Internet of Things is becoming a bit of a buzz phrase. What's your take on the Internet of Things at the moment?
I think that people have really taken to heart the potential of IoT, and we will see that coming to fruition, but there is a risk that we're at the top of the hype curve at the moment and that there is going to be some disillusionment as we work through challenges in implementing IoT. So I think we're a way away from seeing productivity and the true value of it. And I think we're just starting to see deployments. So we're not going to wake up tomorrow to this brave new world where everything is intelligent and connected and your journey to work is seamless because your car is talking to the traffic lights and you're redirected around accidents. All of that, that's not going to happen tomorrow. That's a few years away. But what we are seeing is spot solutions that are connected end to end, that are generating data and that are enabling better business decisions or better human decisions that improve society.
Because the classic thing is that with the Gartner hype cycle is you've got at the
trough
top
of disillusionment.
Exactly, and I think I saw a recent one from Gartner, and Internet of Things is just about
in my foils for today.
It's just about ahead.
Straight down that trough of disillusionment, yes.
Yeah. And do you think things like, I was at CES in January and you had the internet-enabled toothbrush and the classic internet-enabled fridge.
Yes.
Do you think these gimmicks are helping the perception of Internet of Things at the moment?
So I think that there are a lot of gimmicks out there. I saw wine glasses so that you could be connected to your partner and your wine glass would light up every time they took a sip, and I thought, I don't actually want my partner knowing every time I take a sip of wine, thank you very much. But there are some of those gimmicks. I think things like the toothbrush actually introduce some different business models. So do you want to pay $50 for a toothbrush that tells you that you're cleaning your teeth effectively and communicates that back to your dentist? Possibly not. But if that means that you get a reduction in your dental costs, then suddenly the business model changes quite dramatically, and it's something that people are prepared to do because they see the benefit to them. So I think it's really important that we explain the benefits and what the gets are as well as the gives in the Internet of Things.
Because it all comes down to the data, isn't it? And
yes.
What is the data and who has it? I mean, how do you think we're going to get around that major problem?
So I think that society has a lot of things to consider in looking at privacy of data. I think we're all very loose with our data at the moment, and we don't really think about what we're giving away, and I'm as guilty of this as anybody. And I think particularly if we're offered something very small in terms of a reward, we're happy to give away quite a lot of our data. When we look at the Internet of Things, we need to look at governance or self-regulation to make sure that people have the right amount of data and the right amount of individualized data for what they're trying to do. So if you go and see your GP, then you want your GP to know that the data is about you, how old you are, what medical conditions you are, where you live, because he might need to get things to you. He needs to know everything. And he needs to know clearly about your treatment. But the drug company may benefit from having anonymised data of what condition you have, how you're responding to the treatment, some other data about you without knowing your name, your address, what colour car you drive, all of those kind of things. So I think it's about the right level of data to enable people to get things done. And
to do that, do you think, do we need regulation on this, or is it going to be something that kind of, as the technology evolves, it settles down naturally?
So I don't know the answer to that question. I think we'll see that it will settle out naturally, whether that's through regulation over formal governmental kind, or whether that's something that companies take upon themselves. I mean, people have huge amount of respect for the brands that they invest in, and if brands abuse that trust, then people will move their business very quickly. So I think it will be in companies' interests to show respect to people's privacy and to protect their data, whether that's medical or financial data. and I think that those that don't will suffer very greatly, very quickly by people walking with their feet.
Now the trouble is with things like that is everybody, whenever you sign up for anything, you get an end user agreement that everybody just ticks without reading. With devices that are sharing so much of our personal data, do you think we need to move towards being more explicit with what is being done? The conditions shouldn't be hidden in massive lengths of agreement forms.
So I think that it's interesting. I went to a user experience conference a little while ago in Bristol, and they were talking about exactly that kind of thing on web pages, and they call it the dark arts of web creation. And I think the tricky bit is that we need to recognise that our personal data is very valuable to us, and I don't think people realise that. And so people don't take the time to read through the terms and conditions. And the other tricky bit is that we live in a very complex society, and people are very ready to litigate and to sue and to take action, and that causes very lengthy terms and conditions agreements, so that the terms of the contract are very clearly set out. So I'm not sure that there's a way to truly simplify those very lengthy documents, because I think that they do accurately describe the service that we're taking on board. I think it's maybe on us as individuals to value our data more and to take the time to look at that.
So, on a personal level, what sort of information would you be happy to share through an IoT device or devices?
So as I said, I'm possibly not the best example in the world on this, because I think I'm a very typical example. If I'm offered something that is of benefit to me, then I will give data away. I'm very protective of my children's data, so I don't reveal anything about my family. I anonymise where I live, for example, to the nearest town. I don't provide much information beyond that. I keep my Facebook settings very private versus Twitter, which I use for work purposes, which is more public. So I have quite a defined line as to what I will reveal to whom. But yes, certainly the supermarkets know all about me.